Hi everybody and big welcome to cEDh TV. Me and Rhetoric here today, joined by Def.
Yeah!
And Waffles.
Hi there.
This is my Halloween special deck. I've played it actually with Veil of Death on his channel before. And since this is the gameplay that's closest to that holiday, I decided to play Umbris. So it's about milling opponents in different ways with exile, smashing over. I admit it's not the most powerful deck, but it has all the packages and things you would see in a Demir cEDh deck.
Well, speaking of Halloween specials, today I brought with me the wise Mothman, or as I like to say, the Mothman cometh. And as Rhetoric mentioned, I like to play insects a lot. So last Halloween special I played Zyra the Golden Sting, but today I decided to bring something new, something spicy, something we have not seen yet, something that can kill the table with radiation, or with Fastest Oracle, if you choose.
So I gotta say, I really like the concept of the Rani, that is making my opponent's creature basically attack everyone, and I make clues from that. Now, honestly, I think that the commander is probably a little bit too slow. There's a lot of things that could basically make it go wrong, and you're also feeding Dockside with aura enchantments and clues. However, the concept is really cool and I can't resist. The deck is actually built by Tangelo, and it's actually kind of fun because I was like planning to build this, and then he sent me a deck list just 5 minutes ago, so it felt like a sign that it's time to play this. But in general, it is just a typical Grixis deck with Phasas, Ragavan, Oppo, Notion, and the Undul Breach, the One Ring, the Ad Nauseam. So it's a typical Grixis deck with a very big twist on the commander.
I brought Krark and his old friend from school, Silas Wren, to make a different take on the usual Krakashima stuff. Now we have access to black, which allows us to double up on tutors, like Besiege the Mirror or Demonic Tutor. Also, we are not playing at North. Probably should. The risk to fizzle on the coin flip is big.
I like this first summon because it has Dress Down, which is so key for quick decks. This deck is not fast, folks. It is not at all. It needs to control the board a little bit, let people do mill and things of that sort. Mental Misstep, always a good one to put, and we can't be countered if we put in a horror, because we know that once Umbris lands and once it's cast and so forth, and it hits the battlefield, some problems can happen for players. So I'm going to keep it just because I have two pieces of interaction. I have Ledger Shredder, which can help us draw cards. Umbris doesn't draw cards or anything like that. It just smashes over once it hits the battlefield after it's been on the battlefield. So I think we can just kind of kick back because we're the first player, control the board a little bit. We're not going that fast. But again, I think with the two things like Dress Down and Ledger Shredder, we might be okay. Take it away.
Alrighty then, boys and girls, let's look at our first 7 with the Mothman cometh. That's a horrible hand. We only have one land? We do have Death Ray shown. Let's try this again. Second 7. We have a Mental Misstep, we have a Ring. Can we go turn 3 Ring? Yeah, we will risk this. This might be something. We have Mental Misstep in any reason. If we can get the One Ring rolling, it will be just perfect. So I will keep it.
Oh, this hand is actually very interesting. I gotta be honest. I kinda like it. But I also kinda like Gilded Drake, to be honest. Mana Vault is not that great in this deck, or in this commander, because we need colored mana and not colorless. But there's a very cool thing, or not that cool thing. It kinda is, it could be kinda cool thing. So with Mana Vault, you can add Nas very early in the game, and we can use Demonic Consultation to get add Nas. You can do that, and I mean, don't let your memes be dreams, but the risk of that not working out is kind of big. But there's another thing we can do that is making this hand absolutely legit to play. You can turn one Demonic Consultation for Rhetorik Study, and then turn 2 with Ancient Tomb. This is an Ancient Tomb right down here. We can turn 2 Rhetorik Study. And once again, like, that's pretty good, but it could absolutely backfire. Now here's the thing, I'm gonna be absolutely honest. I kind of want my commander to get into the play. All the 2 other plays I've kind of talked about right now, the demonic for Adnos or the demonic consultation for Rhystic Study are legit plays. But I wanna gold creatures. So I'm gonna... You can keep this hand, but it's also some... You can mulligan this hand too. Like, if I will be playing blue farm, I could see myself actually mulligan. So we're gonna go to second 7. We could keep this, but the land count is just too low. We have 2 mana, which means Fairy Mastermind, and that could work out. And we get Witchclaw Talisman, so once again it could work out, but I'm gonna go to 6. Come on now. This feels great. I'm actually very happy with this. So we have a Dockside Extortionist, we have an Offer, and we have Mana Drain. We are going to bottom the Mana Drain to the bottom because it's a little bit too slow. Birgi is great. Dockside, turn 2, and depending on, we might get the Commander into play turn 2 and see how we develop from there. Kinda regretting, maybe I should have kept the Demonic Consultation for Rhystic Study, but this feels safer. I don't like those super ultra risky plays. And I really want to do the Commander. So let's see what Chris is able to find.
We have a Lion's Eye Diamond, a Storm Kiln Artist, which is pretty good, a Mystic Remora, and Imseal. I guess we can try that.
Draw a card for turn. Land for turn will be a Scalding Tarn. I am going to crack it, paying a life, fetching up an Underground Sea. Any response to that?
It's possible, but it's very hard to have a response to that this early in the game.
You never know. Anyways, I got Underground Sea. With that, I pass the turn.
I shall draw for my turn. Well, that's fun. I shall play Bloodstained Mire, crack that, go get an Underground Sea. Then I would like to play a Chrome Mox. If that resolves, I will exile Flesh Duplicate under it. And then I would like to cast a Demonic Tutor. I will go and find a beautiful little card. Found my card. I am ready to pass turn.
That means my turn. Draw a card. Water Grave. I am not gonna pay 2 life. I'm gonna put it into play like this and pass.
So let's show Mons how this is done. Draw for turn and play a Watery Grave. Untapped, paying 2 life. Then proceed to tap it for blue mana and cast our beloved fish.
I will show you a Mental Misstep.
Yeah, then that gets counted, I guess. Sad. And after that, I'll pass my turn.
Ledger Shredder resolves. I have 5 cards in hand. Pass turn.
That's a very good draw to draw, because I will play Rejuvenating Springs. I will cast Mana Crypt, then I will cast a second spell triggering Ledger Shredder. I'll cast the One Ring.
We have a Ledger Shredder trigger on the stack, so I'm going to draw a card, then discard a card. Discard this Sunken Ruins.
I have protection from everything, and since I like burdening myself, I will tap it right away to burden counter and to draw a card. And with that, I will pass it.
I will untap and draw a card. I will play this Flooded Strand and this Mana Crypto. We're gonna start off by cracking the Flooded Strand for a Volcanic Island. I'm gonna cast a Dockside Extortionist. Ledger Shredder gets to draw and discard a card.
All right, with Ledger Shredder, I will discard this Snow-Covered Swamp.
Dockside ETB, I make exactly 3 treasures. I will tap this, sacrifice 2 treasures, and use the last floating mana from the Mana Crypt to cast the Rani. Now on ETB, I will mark that Ledger Shredder with the mark of Rani. This is gonna increase the Dockside count, which is a little bit scary, but we're also gonna give it +2/+2 and permanently goad it. It can go to war against everyone but me. And then I pass the turn.
Alright, we draw for turn. We will play Wooded Foothills and crack it. Badland. Cast a Felva Stone. We'll tap it to add a black mana and cast an Imperial Seal.
Ledger Shredder trigger. Once again, we will draw a card and discard. I'm going to discard this island.
We found this very card here and put it on top of a library. And after that, I'll pass my turn.
Take my turn. We'll untap. Land for turn will be Cavern of Souls, and I will name Horror. Then we will tap Underground Sea and Ancient Tomb, paying 2 life, and then 2 more life because we're spicy. And we are going to cast a Phyrexian Metamorph. Phyrexian Metamorph resolves. I will have it enter as a copy of Dockside.
So the difference between, if I crack my treasure, he's getting 5. He's currently getting 6. He's probably gonna use this to cast his commander, I'm expecting. And that's fine, because we're gonna goad his commander anyway. So I'm not paying for this. I'm not cracking my treasure, I mean.
Great. So I make 6 treasures. From there, I am cracking 4 treasures, making really any Demir combination, which there only really is one, and we're going to tap Cavern of Souls to make this uncounterable. I will cast Umbris. We also have a Ledger Shredder trigger on the stack, so I will draw a card and then discard a card. So the card I will discard is this Phyrexian Tower. From there, Umbris will resolve. ETB, I can pick an opponent. Death has protection, so I can't pick him. Chris, you used Imperial Seal, so I'm going to target you.
Well, plan was all good, but yeah, rhetoric came in and crushed the party. So let's see what we have to exile. That's a Harmonic Prodigy, huh? And then we have a Rite of Flame. Then we have a Chain of Whipper. Here we have a Heuristic Study, which hurts. A Dark Ridge, a Chromox, a Swan Song. By the way, we're on 24 or 25 lands, and oh god, there's the Underworld Breach. That hurts so much. A Fimage, Springleaf Drum, and here we go, Ancient Tomb. Those are all the cards exiled by Umbris, and it hurts so much to see Underworld Breach gone, and also Harmonic Prodigy, which we tutored for. So now we are back to 0 basically, and I'll hopefully have a game still.
Moving to combat. We only have a choice. I'm just going to go to combat and attack you for 3, Chris. Don't hate me, please.
I hate you. That's all good.
This will trigger my Rani, and I will make a clue, because whenever a creature that is goaded punches someone in the face, I investigate.
After that, I have 4 cards in hand. I will move through my steps and pass the turn.
That was a fun turn of events. I will untap. I will roll for crypt. Odds will be damage as always. Tails will be damage. I take 3. Then I take 1 more from the ring. Then I draw my card. I'll play this Windswept Heave. Lose a life. Go find a tropical. Then I would like to activate my ring, giving it another burden and drawing 2 cards. Cool. Count. I will start by casting a Lanovar Elf. And then I will do the one thing that nobody suspects me of doing. With 1 mana floating, I will cast the Wise Mothman. So the Wise Mothman, when it enters, it's a flying 3/3. But it gives every player on attack on ETB a rad counter, a radiation counter. With radiation at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, that means every player basically, if you have any red counters, mill that many cards. For each non-land card milled this way, you lose 1 life and lose the red counter. Right now I'm gonna irradiate everyone with 1 radiation.
We have a Ledger Shredder trigger. I will discard yet another land.
Right now we're just here to defend from a giant 13/13. And with that, I would like to pass.
So, untap and draw a card first, and heads is damage, tails, no damage from the mana crypt, I survive. Then, I mill a Mox Opal, goes to grave. I lose 1 life and I lose the radiation, so no longer radiation on me. But now we need to solve that big Umbris. We're gonna solve it by attacking Chris. Attack trigger. We're gonna mark Umbris with Mark of Rani, which means it's permanently goaded, which means it's no longer my problem.
Also, because Mon's milled, 1 card I get to put a +1/+1 counter on. Well, I'm gonna put it on the Mothman because it was only 1 card, so 1 counter per 1 creature.
I'll happily take another commander at my face, no problem.
Best part, he's not even playing Adnos. I'm gonna cast a Fellower Stone, and then I'm gonna pass the turn.
Alright, let's untap and draw for turn. So I will mill a card due to the radiation I got, and I'll mill a Lotus Petal. So we play the Underground Sea, we play our Mox Opal, and also we play Lion's Eye Diamond.
Ledger Shredder trigger will draw and discard a card. I love discarding lands. Prismatic Visca will be discarded.
Little friend here, the Stormkiln Archers. And after that, I'll pass my turn.
End of your turn, I will pay 1 treasure, casting blue, playing Mystical Tutor.
I will pay 2 life to mental misstep that card.
What goes around comes around. Mystical Tutor is countered. I will untap. We've drawn a card. We are in pre-combat main, so we have the rad counter. I will mill the top card. Force of Will is milled. No effects during my main phase. I will move to combat. Okay, attackers wise, I will send Umbris at Death, Ledger Shredder at Chris.
I will block with Llanowar Elf.
I have no blocks.
That means one creature connected at someone's face, I make a clue.
And then I'm going to play a card that just is so fitting. I play it every time I get a chance. I'm going to crack this treasure, making a blue, tap this, and then I'm going to tap this for 1, colorless, to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter. All right, this is my favorite card to play in this deck. So Tasha's Hideous Laughter says, each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with total mana value 20 or more.
So, for me, exactly 20, it hit both my Fastest Oracle, my Demonic Consultation, my Feral Ghoul, and most importantly, somewhere over here, it hit an ad nauseum.
I also feel the fastest hideous laughter attacking me. I actually hit the only thing I didn't want to lose, which is my Gilded Drake. My grand plan was literally to make you, with your Umbris, kill these 2 clowns, and then I was gonna somehow get my Gilded Drake to my hand and take your Umbris and attack back at you. That's literally the only thing I care about from this pass. Odawara could be nice to actually have against your commander. Braids could be cute too, but yeah, Gilded Drake, that's gone. That's sad.
How funny is that? Feels like Adnos, but also very wrong. I lost a Thassa's Oracle. I lost Jeska's Will, a Birgi, and a Dockside, and also an answer to this Umbris, a Cyclonic Rift.
So Umbris has +2/+2 because of the Mark of Rani, and then 56 cards are in exile. So that makes Umbris a 59/59. Big nightmare coming your way, fellas. Other than that, 2 colorless mana available, 3 cards in hand. Pass turn.
Alright, that's untapped. Let's flip a coin for our crypt. Heads will be fine. It's heads! I lose no life, but then I lose 2 life to the 1 ring. Draw. And then I have my own radiation hitting me. And I will mill a carpet of flowers. I will play a land called Polluti Duty. And I'll fetch to get Bayou. My Bayou has been exiled, so I'll get my Watery Grave and shock it in. We're gonna roll the dice, we're gonna tap the ring and draw a free card. This is gonna increase the Umbris a little bit, but just a little bit, because I'm gonna cast Meme Betrayal.
Yes, you have my Mox Opal.
Cast a Lotus Petal. I'm gonna tap Mana Crypt for 2 colorless, because Meme Betrayal lets me cast these spells for any mana, and I will start with casting a Mystic Remora.
Ledger Shredder has a trigger, so we will actually discard this Dress Down. Put a counter on Ledger Shredder.
And then I'm gonna cast the Imperial Sea. I will find this card, shuffle my library, put it on top. I am good with all this and 6 cards in my hand. I would like to pass the turn.
In your end step though, we're gonna crack a clue to draw a card, and then we're gonna sacrifice this treasure to crack this clue as well and draw another card. Then we're gonna go to my turn, untap and draw a card. I also take 3 damage from the Mana Crypt. I'm gonna cast Birgi, God of Storytelling. Then we're moving to combat. We are attacking at rhetoric with my Rani. Trigger, I'm gonna target the Storm Kiln Artist with Mark of Rani and goad it.
No blocks.
After that, I'm gonna cast a Soul Ring. Death with his Mystic Remora can draw a card. I will make a red mana from my Birgi, but I'm not gonna use it. I'm gonna pass the turn after this.
Ledger Shredder draws a card, so I will discard. Ooh, this is tough. I honestly don't have very good options. I am going to discard this Dark Ritual.
Alright, let's see what this one brings us. Okay, not that much, I guess, but I will play Silas Wren, Seeker Adept. That makes my Stormkiln Artist a bit bigger. Alright, and I'll have to move to my combat, so rhetoric, I'll return the favor, attacking you for 8.
No blocks.
I will make a clue.
And now we got nothing more to do, so I just pass my turn.
Take my turn. Draw a card. Land for turn will be a command tower. First action on my main phase is to tap Cavern of Souls because horrors cannot be countered. And then I will tap command tower as well and cast Spellskite. Ember's trigger, I will target death.
All right, rhetoric, it's your funeral. Tyvar and Ancient Tomb, just 2 cards.
All right, we've done the milling with Spellskite. We will move to combat. These two are goaded. Moving to combat, and we'll do what I did last time. I will send Ledger Shredder at Chris, and I will send Umbris at Death.
I have a response before assigning blocker. I will flash in this opposition agent. I was saving it for rhetoric, but rhetoric is not tutoring. And then I block it.
I have, again, no blocks.
This means I make a clue.
The only thing, and among several things, I guess, that's frustrating about Umbris is it's hard to punch through. So we need some kind of trample. We need something of that sort. There aren't that many options when you're thinking about cEDh. So believe me, I'm trying. Damage resolves. Other than that, I have no other game actions. 2 cards in hand. I will pass turn.
I have a lot of game actions. I'm gonna untap. I'm gonna flip a coin for my crypt. Heads, I will be safe. It's tails. I'll take 3. And then I'll take 3 from the 1 ring. And then I'll pay 1 for the fish, which is not even mine. And then I will draw a card. Now that's beautiful. I will start by shocking in an overgrown tomb. Then I will activate the 1 ring and draw 4 cards. Then I will tap 1, cast a dark ritual. Then I will use 2 mana from the dark ritual and 1 from the smoke sopa, which will be green. And I will cast Food Chain.
Ledger Shredder trigger, we will draw a card, then discard 1. I am going to make a tough call and discard Imperial Seal. There's really no good options.
I have a response to your food chain. I'm gonna cast an offer you can't refuse by tapping Water Grave, gaining a red mana from Birgi. I cannot pay for Mystic Remora, you can draw a card.
I will cast Pact of Negation on it.
I will pact your food chain. Death.
Mystic Remora triggered.
I can't pay.
We'll draw a card. Offer, so I can refuse it, but then another pack's gonna take my food chain away. This land and mana crypt leave a black floating anyways and cast Rhystic Study. Then I will use the Lotus Petal and the Rejuvenating Springs, green to cast a Birds of Paradise and an Elves of Deep Shadow. Then I will, for the final floating mana and the 2, I will cast a Phyrexian Altar. And with that, be it for my, well, surprisingly sad turn.
At the end of your turn though, I am going to tap this and crack the clue to draw a card. And with the floating red mana, I will exile this Simian Spirit Guide and use my floating mana to crack the next clue, draw another card. And then I'm gonna go to my turn, untap and draw a card. I flipped heads on the mana crypt, so I take 3 damage as well. Let's begin with combat first. We are going to attack with the Rani at rhetoric. Now, the only reason I'm actually attacking him is because he can't kill her, basically. Now, on attack, I'm going to goad the big moth bird. I didn't actually goad that creature until now because I thought Death was gonna shunk block with it. But apparently he's been throwing shunk blockers out there, so we're gonna goad the big bug.
I will block with Dockside / Phyrexian Metamorph.
Oh, I wanted to goad that thing, it's dead. I'm gonna cast a Ledger Shredder. It's a good attacker and a good flyer, a good blocker. I am going to pay for Rhystic Study. But then I pass the turn.
First things first, I will move to combat. Rhetoric for 8. Again.
I will take the damage. No blocks.
And I will make a clue.
Cast our trusty friend, Krark the Thumbless. I will pay for Rhystic Study. With Krark on the field, now it's time for some flippin' coins. I will cast a gamble and I will also pay for the study.
Ledger Shredder resolves, draw a card. We're gonna discard Cooling the Weak and make her grow.
Draw a card. This game is going to be full of regrets slightly. I'm going to discard Thassa's Oracle.
I have a Krark trigger, and I will say that head is winning the flip, so I'll copy the spell, and let's see. And I flip tails, of course. So gamble goes back to my hand, and then I'll pass my turn.
I untapped, upkeep. We have a pack trigger, so I will take 2 damage. And I will also pay with Underground Sea and all my mana. Then draw a card. Ledger Shredder and Umbris have to attack, so I will attack Death with Umbris, and I will attack Chris with a 7/9 Ledger Shredder.
I will block with Elves of Deep Shadow.
Since the Ledger Shredder is still flying, I have no blocks.
I will make another clue.
The worst nightmare of this table is turning on me, so I have no other effects. 2 cards in hand. Pass turn.
Alright, this is gonna be a complicated turn. We have a lot of triggers. So we're gonna start with the most important one, the pact. 5 for the pact. 2 to pay for the fish. Throw a coin. Heads, don't take any damage. Take 4 damage from the one ring. I will start with combat and I'll send my 9/9 Wise Mothman at rhetoric.
I accept my fate and die.
I will make another clue.
Also on attack, everybody gets a radiation. Then in my second main phase, I will activate the one ring to draw 5 cards. I will play my underground stadium. I will tap it, play a mana vault, which will trigger Ledger Shredder from Mons.
Draw a card, and I will discard this Mnemonic Betrayal.
Then I will tap the mana vault, keep 2 colorless floating to play a soul ring. Use the 2 colorless. Well, I will use one of them, and I will sacrifice my Wise Mothman to my Phyrexian altar to cast a Tainted Pact.
I will actually respond to this by actually casting a Muddle the Mixture on it, gaining a red mana from Birgi. I'm not paying for either I will actually pay floating a colorless with my Soul Ring. I will pay for Rhystic, but I will not pay for Mystic Remora.
I will draw a card and your Muddle the Mixture resolve. I will tap this Watery Grave to cast an Imperial Seal. I will look into my library. I will find a very interesting card. Shuffle up, lose 2 life, and put it on top of my library. I will do that, and on Mox Opal mana, I will play also this Fairy Mastermind. And with that, I will just simply pass the turn.
In the end step, I have some actions. I'm gonna use the floating mana that I have to crack a clue to draw a card. And then I'm gonna untap and draw a card. Now when I cracked a clue in his end step, he actually gets to draw a card because of Fairy Mastermind there. I also have a Rani effect, so I will mill a Brain Freeze to the graveyard and lose a life. Land drop will be an Ancient Tomb. Let's do combat first. We're attacking with Ledger Shredder and the Rani all at death. Now the Rani is gonna mark Celia's Ren actually to give him the mark of Rani.
Block 1 each.
Post-combat main phase gonna tap Ancient Tomb and cast a Defense Grid. I am paying for Rhystic Study but not for Fish. Defense Grid resolves, I feel defended. I'm gonna use one of my floating mana to cast a Demonic Tutor, not paying for either Mystic Remora or Fish. I'm gonna find this card and put that into my hand. So I actually screwed up a tiny bit, or maybe much. So my plan now is to basically get Thassa's Oracle, cast Tainted Pact and win the match. There's a problem. I have only Volcanic Island and Watery Grave. I don't have enough colored mana. I need to use my Demonic Tutor to find Thassa's, and then 2 blue to cast Thassa's, and 1 more black. I only have 3 colored sources of mana, so I can't do Thassa's and console Tainted Pact and win. However, if you look at the board state, Death is gonna die. He doesn't have a single blocker, and Mana Crypt and the One Ring might kill him, and the creatures over there are goaded, so they're gonna swing at him and potentially kill him. If that doesn't happen, I'm actually gonna find a Fierce Guardianship just to protect myself kind of bit. The big misplay here is casting Defense Grid. I just casted it to just protect myself a tiny bit, but now I feel utterly dumb about having it in play. The last thing I'm gonna do this turn is use my 2 red floating mana to crack a clue and draw a card. And then I'm passing the turn. Enjoy my Defense Grid. Kill him, Chris.
Right.
Kill him for me.
I guess I'll have to.
You're forced.
No!
Yes.
No!
I'll draw for turn. Poor Death. We'll start off by having the benefits of this cute little defense grid right there. Cast Gamble again, Krark trigger on the stack, and also, I forgot last time, Stormclan Artist trigger on the stack.
And Rhystic Study and Mystics trigger.
I won't pay. I will create a treasure. Also, I will flip for Krark. Heads will win me this flip, and it's tails. I'll go to my combat tees, and the Mark of Rani demands it to kill Death.
Can I convince you to kill your creatures before you kill me?
I can't. I literally can't.
Then I will just sadly say that I die.
And I make 2 clues.
Due to the red counter I still have, I mill a Praetor's Grasp.
Oh my god, wait, that was key. That was like your finisher. You're only... Oh my...
Ah, this is so dumb.
Oh my...
Yeah.
You can't... You're kidding me. Okay, that's
Let's see.
crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I will cast this gamble for the treasure. another trigger of Stormkiln Artist and a trigger of Krark. I will make a treasure.
In response to you making a treasure, it's gonna be a very expensive, but we're gonna do it still. We're gonna cast Fierce Guardianship on that, trying to counterspell your gamble. I hate my defense grid. Why did I cast that thing?
In response to the Fierce Guardianship, I'll tap this Underground Sea and cast an offer you can't refuse. And I'll also get a treasure, and I have a Krark trigger on this.
We can fast forward this because, as I understand it, if you fail the flip, it goes back to your hand and you just crack the treasure that you gained by casting it. So you will just sit here and cast it until you successfully resolve it, as I understand it, correct?
An offer you can refuse resolves.
I will create 2 treasures.
Alright, and Gamble is back on the stack, and I hope Mons has no more responses.
Nah, carry on.
Okay, I will create another treasure due to the copy that Gamble creates, because it's the same as with an offers you can't refuse. And then I'll go and search my library. We found that card. Discard a card randomly. Yeah, sure. That's just my Krark thumb in my graveyard. Well, we have another copy of Gamble on the stack.
Did the gamble actually turn into a red entomb?
Yes.
Is Undual Breach
It
in
did.
your exile?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
my luck.
Yeah. Well,
Gamble number 2.
I will. Now we found this card right here, and now we have to discard again, and it's a demonic consultation. Okay, so 1 treasure to cast for 4 a Besiege the Mirror. I have a trigger of Krark and the Stormkiln Artist again. I will add a token, and then I'll flip, and heads is win. I flipped tails. Welp. Yeah, I can't cast Besiege again, so I'll have to pass the turn again.
I have a floating mana. I will tap this, crack a clue, draw a card before my turn, go to my turn, untap, heads is damage. Heads, I take 3 damage on the Mana Crypt. I'm gonna play Bloodstainmire, sacrifice that. I'm gonna find an under Steam Vent, shocking it into play. Tap this, cast a Talisman of Indulgence. Tap that, and this one. I'm gonna cast a Braid, generating a red mana. And I wanna kill Krark, dealing 3 damage to Krark. Triggering Ledger Shredder, draw a card. Discarding Mystical Tutor to the graveyard. Conniving, increasing Ledger Shredder's power.
Oh no, not my boy!
So we're playing fast as Oracle, but who cares about those things? Let's win the cool way. So the Rani doesn't prevent me from buffing my creatures. So we're gonna go to combat with the Rani, Ledger Shredder, Birgi, Dockside, and we're gonna make a token Mark of Rani on, let's just say this, Ledger Shredder here. So Ledger Shredder actually grows to a 6/8, then 9 becomes 12, and 13 from Dockside, the perfect count to punch out with combat damage and kill Chris.
Ha!
You could say that his Friday the 13th came smacking.
GG's, I win. Alright, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. This might be one of my best, most very strange, entertaining, fun games I've ever had for a while. I have a fastest Oracle in this deck. I was planning to go for it, I couldn't, but I got to punch out people. Like, watching you guys attack and kill each other was amazing, honestly.
It's classic Commander. I mean, if you think about it, everybody died, well, except you, Mons,
Yeah.
through combat damage. So I died from death, Chris killed death, so on and so forth. It was great.
Yeah, it was really, really funny. I want to say it was a bit of a rough game-wise, because at first Rhetoric exiled all my win cons, basically.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was. Then I had an idea of coming back with Praetor's Grasp, which got milled by death.
After I died.
After you died. And then I had the idea of going for a really conservative Krark line with Wayron to copy spells while making treasures and copy again. And yeah, my boy Krark did what he does best, and yeah, he countered me basically on this one. But all in all, this was just a really funny game, and I want to thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming here. It was a blast. And I mean, we had a hideous laughter in there that literally, I think it kind of destroyed most of your combo pieces too.
Yeah, exactly.
Umbris does funny things like that. You know, Tasha City Laughter, I don't play it really in any other deck, but it can be disruptive and you have to sort of gamble on having a hole. But as we sort of saw, Death put in jump blockers. And sometimes you get that in games, but I need to think a little bit more on like a way to smash through. Like sometimes I see people put in fly or something else that it's hard to find spots for it with all the other powerful cards in the format.
So I want to ask all of you guys one thing. What is your take on the Goaded and the Rani right now? Did it obviously like one game here is not that much, but I kind of felt that the card draw was actually pretty good, combined with the part where you were kind of making people attack each other in weird ways. What's your takes?
I will start with it. I will say it's the same as for Vinoda or Real or whoever has the combat-based decks. It really depends on the pot. It depends on what people play, because there are many decks that either play no creatures or they don't play those creatures when you need them.
Yeah.
And once they play them, they can't even kill them. Like even now, I could just with Phyrex and Alter kill creatures. So it really depends on the pot, like structure, who's what playing what, and what the creatures are that are actually being used. For now, it was perfect, but I can see there are some pots where this deck will not do anything.
I can agree, but actually, I mean, creatures start to actually build up pretty fast. I mean, for example, a Stormkin Artist is a creature that could appear now and then, and that actually punches pretty good. And then you have Celia's Wren, that became a 4/4. Now you don't really want to buff like a Tymna, but buffing a Thrasius, buffing a Crom becomes a 6/6. That's punching 6 each turn because it's flying, so it's hard to block. So I agree with you, there are definitely gonna be games where this is very bad. But suddenly it's gonna be games where it's like, that's gonna be an annoying effect. You can also actually buff your own creatures still, and still gain card draw whenever those goaded creatures that you control with your own marks are attacking and hitting people. The part where you're only buffing your opponents is just to make sure that you are controlling their creatures to attack different players. So you wouldn't truly need a opponents with creatures.
Yeah, because the thing is, you can make all those utility creatures attack and also get blocked, killed off the board that way. So you have always options, and having options is a good thing in cEDH. What you already said, making your own creatures a card draw engine is never a bad thing to have, especially in those colors.
You just have the Grixis package anyways, so if those fail and you come into a pod that doesn't have that many creatures, maybe you get to remove one key one, but you still got the Grixis package. You could technically try to go for lines without even casting the commander at some point.
Yeah, but my commander wasn't the only new commander here. Def, how did you feel?
So I know that the Mothman is probably not the best Sultai based food chain deck that always goes to, partners that actually end the game the moment you start casting the commander to food chain. However, the commander itself feels like a fun way to play. At least I enjoyed it a lot more than I would typically, and I'm a huge fan of alternate win conditions. This one feels like a really fun one because even if whoever's upkeep, they kill my commander after I've done the food chain loop, the radiation still does what it's supposed to do even without the command. The thing I realized, however, is that also you can kind of maybe shuffle around some of those cards to make your commander grow and actually punch people out. Combat damage is not that off with this deck either.
My only take with this is that there are two things I don't like. I kind of like a lot of things on this commander or this card, but the two things are, one, it's just +1/+1 counters on her. The second,
No, it's on any creatures you could.
Yeah, sure, any creature you control, but it's like you're growing an army. And that's not really what you want to do in general. But the second part is that you're milling. And in a breach and in very graveyard focused meta that we have, I think it's very risky. If it was exile, I would love it. If you were exiling one of each opponent's top card, that would be different.
You have to risk it for the biscuit sometimes.
If I may add to that, the thing I don't like is that he doesn't stack up counters that fast.
That's true. And I get what you're talking about, because when you start comparing to like Paco, that grows humongously fast, Umbris got really big. And Corvold usually gets huge really fast. Krark can get huge really fast. And Nigella is actually also a commander that grows really in a different way, but still grows really fast. So I think that's a good point.
Also, the 99 was not optimized for it to grow.
Yeah.
The 99 was literally based on, I'm gonna cast or find Fastest Oracle or Fruit Chain and kill you either this or this way. You can even play the Traumatize package in here and, you know, Traumatize, middle half your library and go one-shot people.
Whenever one or more non-land cards are milled, you can actually mill yourself and grow. And
That's why I have Hermit Druid in the deck as an alternate win con as well. It also mills myself.
Wait, I just figured out a cool combo. Do you guys know about the Breakfast Hulk, the Shuffle Hulk? You guys know about that one?
Yeah, I know.
I never heard of it.
So you use a self-mill effect, and then you have a Kozilek. Kozilek, or one of the Eldrazi's that shuffles back in. This means that you can loop your deck, you can mill infinitely. You can make your entire board state infinite, if you have an infinite miller. Yeah,
True.
it's fun.
That's actually funny, yeah.
Yes, so this is what I mean, that there are ways to adjust the 99. Plus, we have not seen anything else that comes out in this deck. There's like 40 plus new cards coming out in this set in March. So there might be support for both the milling and the counters. But again, as a, you know, first version, and I want to really build this deck in paper and test it out, maybe adjust the 99 a little bit, but as a test, this was actually, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the radiation part. I've always liked that kind of stuff, but yeah.
Especially because I have a radiant personality.
Thank you so much for watching, but don't forget to check out Def's YouTube channel and Oops All Salt on their Twitch live stream. You can find them in the links in the description below of the video. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed the match. See you next time.